And the Giants, I thought, had one of the better drafts in 2023. Really liked what they did because of the value. Now, look, they went out and they got their corner, so fine. You could say what you want one way or another. We knew that the corner spot was going to fluctuate a little bit here or there, who you liked. So they got very good size and speed option in Banks. But, and they got potentially the best center in the draft. A lot of people thought Schmitz was the best center. And so did our lad's draft guide. And he went and they got him right after Tittman. So they ended up with the guy that they probably wanted. And then they ended up with really back-to-back steals in a way to be able to get Jalin Hyatt in the 3rd round and then to be able to get Eric Gray in the 5th round, I think really made the draft. Now, I don't know about the other 3 guys, but the top 4, you just look at that and go, hey, you know what? Wow, we got those 4 guys. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Gray and Jalin Hyatt, former teammates at Tennessee, and Eric Gray goes out to Oklahoma and really put his in terms of single season production, really put his mark on that program with what he did in 2022. And the running back position in New York, it is long-term, very unknown. Saquon Barkley is going to be playing on a franchise tag. It sounds like there's a disconnect between the general manager and Barkley's representation in terms of a long-term contract. So Eric Gray is going to come in, and I think he's going to see the field this year in front of Breida and Gary Brightwell. It won't be given to him. He'll have to earn it. And those guys they impressed in short little spouts last year. But as a pure running back, a guy that carries the football and catches the football and protects the football, Eric Gray is probably right now a better running back than both those guys at the professional level. So to get that in the 5th round is big value. But I want to talk about Jalin Hyatt because I think this kid could probably be the make or break for this draft class for the Giants. And this is a kid that really had 1 year of production at Tennessee in a system that rarely moved him around. He had, I believe, off the top of my head, I researched this because I had to put something out there on him, 15 contested catch possibilities. So 15 times he was throwing the ball with a receiver on top of him. Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnson, Zay Flowers, their numbers were in the 50s, right? How many times did Jalin Hyatt have a press corner up in his face at the point of attack? It was like under 5%, if I remember correctly. So we're talking about a guy that in college was a one-trick pony.
Yes.
He does project. He does have the skill set. He was impressive in workouts. But again, the workouts show you one thing. Game tape shows you something different. I'm a game tape guy. So because I have not seen it yet, and because this kid comes into the NFL with 150 targets to his name, while Jordan Addison had 140 in 1 year, right? There's just a lot of boxes unchecked here. And you could, there's just a lot of that in this draft class for the Giants. They really gambled on traits and elite traits. I mean, Jalin Hyatt, there might not be a better pure deep threat than this kid. If he turns out to be Will Fuller, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I'm talking pre-injury Will Fuller, a guy that changed that Texans offense. So Schmitz, I think you kind of know what he is. Banks is also a gamble, but he fits the Martindale scheme. And I think at that combination, that marriage, Martindale and Banks, I think it's going to work out. I think he's going to be a Marlon Humphrey type presence on this team eventually. But Jalin Hyatt is the guy who they traded up for, right? That I think is going to be a make or break for this Giants draft class.
And be able to get him in the 3rd round, though. That's the thing. They didn't have to invest in him in the 2nd.
Right. They did have to give up a few picks. They had to trade up for him.
That's true.
So,
but they probably realized, hey, wait, is this guy still available?
Good value.
Let's go get him.
Where they got him was really good value in terms of what he could do for that offense.
And Eric Gray could have been drafted in the 3rd round. So
love Eric Gray.
To get him in the 5th.
That was the great value. And the guys on the back end, again, tools, right? Trey Hawkins, cornerback from Old Dominion, who might actually get a move to safety. We'll see about that. Jordan Riley, D-tackle from Oregon, played for 4 or 5 different programs. Had really 1 year of playing football. Travaris Owens, I do like. He's the one guy that he's a football player. He played a lot of football at Houston, started a lot of games, former wide receiver, tracks the ball very well, good tackler, but probably going to be a special teamer early on. So, the back end of the draft was to me. Undrafted free agency, kind of They did get Bryce Ford Wheaton, the kid from West Virginia.
Sure. And he gives them the size.
Yes, and they need size
Yes.
there. That wide receiver group looks like a bunch of point guards and shooting guards. So Ford Wheaton will have a shot. There are a lot of names he's going to have to jump in front of in the coming months, but he does have standout traits.
And the other guys, I mean, they did get, I mean, Green, the corner from Michigan, so he played in a lot of big games. Mm-hmm. And Troy Brown, came up with a lot of big. I mean, he was a huge player, of course, in the MAC, and played a little bit in the SEC. So to get him and maybe he turns out to be a good special teamer. So a couple other guys to keep an eye on.